Squarespace and WordPress are both tools for making websites, but they are very, very different.
From the website editor, to the templates, to pricing, you can expect
a very different experience on Squarespace versus WordPress. Squarespace is an all-in-one package, which means everything is included. For example, the website editor, templates, hosting, and everything else. It's all included in Squarespace. WordPress is more of a website platform, which means it's customizable. So for example, the default website editor, you can swap that out for a different editor. There's a few included templates, but you'll often buy one from a company. And WordPress doesn't even come with a web host. You have to choose one. In this video, I'll help you decide whether Squarespace or WordPress is the right fit for you. We'll cover a few different categories, but let's start with the website editor. Let's take a look at Squarespace.
Here we are in Squarespace. We can click Edit to start editing our page. Pages are made up of these blocks, and you can drag and drop the blocks around your page. You can also resize them. There are tons of different blocks you can choose from, obvious stuff like text, buttons, images, and less obvious stuff like newsletter signups and Instagram widgets. You can also add a section to a page, which is just a pre-designed collection of blocks. If you're comfortable dragging and dropping, you'll be comfortable with this.
And now let's take a look at the WordPress website editor.
Here we are in WordPress. We'll go to Pages and let's open a page. Like Squarespace, you build your page by adding blocks, images, columns, paragraphs, headings, that kind of thing. Let's add an image. We'll upload it, drag it out, and we can move our image block up and down the page. We can't move it anywhere like in Squarespace, just up and down the page. If you need blocks to be on the left or the right, you can use columns, like this column. Now it's worth pointing out, we're not really seeing what this overall page looks like. For example, we can't see navigation. Instead, we need to open the page to see the full page. This is one of the bigger differences. In Squarespace, we saw the full page while we were editing. WordPress's default editor does not show the full page.
But remember, WordPress is a platform, so we can swap out whatever we don't like, and we can bring on our own website editor.
In my case, I've installed the Elementor plugin. It brings a completely different type of website editor. It's still not quite as intuitive as Squarespace, but we are now editing with the full page visible.
Now overall, Squarespace is just much more intuitive to use. Let me demonstrate by showing how to do two things that are pretty common. One, choose a page to be our home page. And two, change the order of the links in our navigation.
In Squarespace, we go to Pages. And if we want to set this home page to be our home page, we just click at Settings and select Set as Homepage. And if we want to reorder our navigation, we simply reorder the pages. Now let's see how that works in WordPress. You might think we should go to Pages to do this, but that's actually wrong. Instead, to set our homepage, we go to Settings and Reading, and we select which page is our homepage. To reorder our navigation, we go to Settings, Menus, and we have to create a whole new navigation. We add our pages, set it as a primary menu, and now can edit our navigation.
Squarespace is obviously much easier and intuitive, so why doesn't WordPress just make it easy like Squarespace? Well, because WordPress wants to be flexible. You see, WordPress powers all kinds of websites.
From your local bakery to an entire university website. And a university's website may need multiple navigations.
Squarespace is more meant for small business websites, portfolios, personal websites, e-commerce websites, that kind of stuff. It wouldn't make sense to build a university's website on Squarespace. It's just not flexible enough. Okay, templates and themes. Squarespace, it's an all-in-one package, so they include website templates.
They have a few hundred website templates, and they all have a pretty similar look and feel. Bold typography, plenty of white space, and room for photography.
WordPress is a platform, so most themes are provided by a third party. Fancy way of saying a bunch of people and companies create WordPress themes.
Because of that, there are thousands of WordPress themes, and some can be hyper-specific, like this is a cleaning company theme.
Let's try customizing these themes. We'll start with Squarespace.
We have a bunch of fonts we can choose from, but let's try this one. Okay. Let's go back and edit the colors. So we have a palette for our website, and it's an easy way to add our brand colors if we edit it. So let's choose from some preset colors. Interesting. Okay. Yep. Huh. What I like about Squarespace is that if you'd like to get really specific and change exactly where and how colors and fonts are used, you can still do that too. Here's the WordPress theme editor. We can go to typography, choose from different fonts, and we can also select different color palettes. You can also edit the code of WordPress, which means you can code your template to be whatever you want. And you can't do that with Squarespace.
Next, let's discuss features and flexibility.
One of the great strengths of WordPress is its plugins. There are 61,000 plugins listed on WordPress.org.
These plugins customize and extend WordPress in all kinds of interesting ways.
WooCommerce is a plugin that adds e-commerce. Opt-in Craft lets you build custom pop-ups. White Label CMS simplifies the WordPress backend so you can hand it off to clients. Advanced Custom Fields lets you create a full content management system. Yoast SEO is a popular SEO plugin.
There are plugins for just about everything, which at times I can also find a bit annoying.
If you're looking for a photo gallery plugin, there is over 800. How am I supposed to know which one is right for me? And this page says 61,000 free plugins, but they're not really free. Like Yoast SEO has a freemium plan, but you have to upgrade to access all kinds of features. You also need to stay on top of plugin updates, and oftentimes you'll run into plugin conflicts, though these days that's usually avoidable if you stick to well-known plugins.
But at the end of the day, WordPress has tens of thousands of plugins, and that's a huge reason people use it.
Squarespace has third-party plugins too, but not nearly as much. It's not even close.
But that's also really not the point. You don't choose Squarespace for its plugins. You choose it because it's an all-in-one package. And Squarespace includes a lot of features in that package.
You can add an online store to sell products. You can add scheduling to let your visitors book appointments. You can monetize your content by selling memberships and adding paywalls. You can take donations. Squarespace has very solid blogging. And Squarespace doesn't have 800 photo gallery plugins. It just has one. And it's really solid. It's what you'll need 99% of the time. And they've got an SEO tool too, though just one tool, not thousands like on WordPress.
Okay, we need to quickly mention hosting because every website needs a host. For WordPress, you must find a hosting provider. For example, like Pressable. Pressable is a managed WordPress host. That's an important word, managed. Most people choose managed WordPress hosting these days because it simplifies the complicated parts of WordPress hosting. So if you look for a WordPress host, I'd say look for a managed host. Squarespace is an all-in-one package, so they provide hosting. You don't have to think about a host, you don't have to choose one, it's just included. This makes things significantly easier, but it also means you can only ever use Squarespace as your host. You can't just move your Squarespace website to a different host one day. So you probably are getting it by now. There are trade-offs between an all-in-one package and a website platform. Okay, let's talk discounts. You can find links in the video description to both Squarespace and Pressable. Pressable is just a managed WordPress host provided by Automatic, which is the company that's kind of behind WordPress, but also kind of not because WordPress is open source. It's complicated. But anyways, these links are affiliate links. If you click them and add these discount codes, you get 10% off your first year at Squarespace and 15% off your first month at Pressable. Okay, pricing and support. You probably already know where this is going.
Squarespace pricing is pretty simple. Go to their pricing page, and everything for their websites is included in the price, including customer support.
WordPress is a bit more complicated. You pay for individual things, like you pay for a host. And plugins and templates can also cost additional money.
Like here's SiteGround, a pretty low-cost WordPress host. And while they offer a cheap introductory price, its cheapest plan is actually a bit more expensive than Squarespace's cheapest plan.
Customer support is also a little more complicated with WordPress. Configuring something with your host? Well, you get support from your host. Did you buy a theme? Well, then you get support from the theme developer. Did you buy a plugin? You then get support from the plugin developer. There's no like official WordPress customer support team that you can take your questions to. So it all really comes back to these fundamental differences. Squarespace is easy to use. Their websites look good and everything just works. But it's best for small business websites, portfolios, personal websites, e-commerce websites, that kind of thing. If you're trying to build a really big or unconventional website, Squarespace is probably not going to be customizable enough for you. WordPress can be a pain. Sometimes it drives me nuts, like it can feel like a death by 1,000 paper cuts. I don't want to choose between 800 photo gallery plugins or have to think about staying on top of my plugin updates. On the other hand, WordPress is really flexible and it can power a range of different websites, from your local bakery's website to a university's website. So here's where I land. I think most people should just go with Squarespace if they want to build their own website. WordPress has a pretty steep learning curve and it's almost a job in of itself. So I think if you do want a WordPress website, I'd try to do it yourself, but consider the possibility that you may need to hire a WordPress expert at some point. Like I said, you can find links and discount codes in the video description for both Squarespace and Pressable. I hope this helps explain these two very different types of website tools. Thanks for watching.